Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। So let us start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Jaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavauscha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitascha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna all. I welcome you all again. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranam
Mataji. Dandavat.
Krishna Mataji, Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam to all. And I would like to seek blessings from all of you so that whatever I speak is in the parampara and for the pleasure of the Lord. So thank you so much. Those who can switch on their cameras, please switch on. And we will start with today's session. Just a moment. Yeah, so anybody would like to share 1 or 2 points from last class?
Yes, Mataji, I can try.
Yes, Mataji.
This Chitraketu Maharaj's life, it takes a positive turn. Once he gets the instructions, he becomes enlightened by Narada and Angira. And so he becomes very hopeful with knowledge and all that. And after that, they come like dressed as avadutas, right? So Mataji also gave some examples like how Nityananda, Dattatreya and all, they come as avadutas. And so like that, they were dressing madly, So like the pure Vaishnavas who are very, they sometimes dress like madman, that she was explaining.
Okay.
They even, chant in public toilets, saintly persons.
Yes. Yes, thank you, Mataji. You want to say something else?
And because we
something
have
more?
forgotten the energies of the Lord also, we saw two energies, material and spiritual. And because we have forgotten, we have the desire to lord over the material nature, we have forgotten our relationship with the Lord. And also in this, we saw Chitraketu, how he went to the extent of marrying, millions and millions of wives.
Correct.
That story also we saw in detail. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.
Krishna. Yes, thank you so much, Mataji. So we are into this story. This chapter is Narada and Angira instructs King Chitraketu. Right? Chitraketu, he is in great misery. Why? Because he lost his son, and he is really like a madman. He is lying near the body of his son, and he is lamenting like anything. And at that time, these two special personalities, they come and they instruct King Chitraketu. Now we should understand here that their coming is special because they are not roaming around without doing anything. It is not like that. They don't have anything to do, so they are they have come here and they are instructing. It is not like that. They are great personalities and they are actually very busy doing their sadhana and all. But out of compassion in their heart, they have come to instruct King Chitraketu. That we should understand. So let us start with today's verse. Yeah, who wants to recite? Yes, who wants to recite the shloka?
Can I recite, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Shri Angira Uvacha Aham te putra kamasya putradosmi Angira nrupa Esha Brahma sutak sakshan Narado Bhagavan Rishihi. Translation. Mataji, translation. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Angira said, "My dear king, when you desire to have a son, I approached you. Indeed, I am the same Angira Rishi who gave you this son. As for this Rishi, he is the great sage Narada, the direct son of Lord Brahma." Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So now they have come, as I said, they are great personalities, and now they are going to give real knowledge to King Chitraketu. Yeah. Yes, Rupali Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Ittam tam putra shokena मग्नं तं सीदुस्तरे ततादर्हम् अनुस्मृत्य महापुरुषागोचरम् अनुग्रहाय भावता प्राप्तौ अवम् इह प्रभो ब्रह्मण्यो भगवद् भक्तो माताजी प्लीज बोल नावा साधितुम् अर्हसि. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My dear king, you are an advanced devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To be absorbed in lamentation for the loss of something material is unsuitable for a person like you. Therefore, we have both come to relieve you from this false lamentation, which is due to your being merged in the darkness of ignorance. For those who are advanced in spiritual knowledge, to be affected by material loss and gain is not at all desirable. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yes, you can read the purport also.
Purpose. Several words in this verse are very important. The word Mahapurusha refers to advanced devotee and also to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Maha means the Supreme and Purusha means person. One who always engages in the service of the Supreme Lord is called Paurushika. Sukdev Goswami and Maharaja Parikshit are sometimes addressed as Mahapaurushika. A devotee should always aspire to engage in the service of advanced devotee, as Srila Narottama Das Thakura has sung. Tandera charana sevi bhakta sanevasa janame hayati abhilasha. A devotee should always aspire to live in the association of advanced devotee and engage in the service of the Lord through the parampara system. One should serve the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through the instruction of the great Goswamis of Vrindavana. This is called Kandera Charana Sevi. While serving the lotus feet of the Goswamis, one should live in the association of devotee, Bhakta Sanevasa. This is the business of a devotee. A devotee should aspire for material profit or lament for material loss. When Angira Rishi and Narada saw that Maharaj Chitraketu, an advanced devotee, had fallen in the darkness of ignorance and was lamenting for the material body of his son, by their causeless mercy they came to advise him so that he could be saved from this ignorance. Another significant word is Brahmanya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is sometimes addressed by the prayers Namo Brahmanya Devaya, which offers obeisances unto the Lord because he is served by the devotee. Therefore, this verse states Brahmanyo Bhagavad Bhakto Navasaditum Arhasi. This is the symptom of an advanced devotee. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. For a devotee and advanced self-realized soul, there is no cause for material jubilation or lamentation. He is always transcendental to conditioned life. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So here Prabhupada is stressing upon the association. Right? Prabhupada says here, a devotee should always aspire to live in association of advanced devotees and engage in the service of the Lord. This association is very important because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Daivi Yesha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva Ye Prapadyante Maya Metantarantite. So this Maya, external energy of the Lord, is very, very powerful, and it is very difficult to cross that to cross that Maya, because living entity is entangled in Maya and it is very difficult to come out of it. So when we say when a person becomes a devotee, Maya becomes very alert. Maya says that now up till now, you were sleeping in my lap and now you want to get up. So she becomes very, very, very alert, and that's why it is very difficult to come out of that illusory energy of the illusory energy. And so Krishna says it can be done only by the association of devotees through the parampara system, service, engaging oneself in the service of the Lord in parampara system. Like in a prison house, till the time the prisoner the prisoner is peaceful. I mean, he is not doing any activity against the prison rules. Everything is peaceful, right? And nobody has any objection and everything is going on smoothly. But as soon as the prisoner, he tries to come out of the prison house, everybody becomes alarmed. The bells ring, the bells start ringing, and all the jailer and all the constables there, they become very much alert because the person is trying to get out of that prison house. So same thing happens with us. We are in this material world. It is like a prison house, and when one engages oneself in the service of the Lord, or one becomes a devotee of the Lord, Maya also becomes alert, and she also tries to tries to take that person away from Krishna, right? So that's why association is very important. And we will see now that by association of these great sages, Narada Muni and Angira Muni, Chitraketu now they will instruct him, and he will come out of that illusion, because he is totally devastated kind of thing. He's shattered because of the death of his only son. And how he will come out of this illusion? By the association, by the instructions of these great sages. Like a person is playing with a kite on the roof of a house, and if that roof doesn't have any wall around it, and the person is very much absorbed in flying the kite, and he is flying, and now he is about to fall. So if somebody is there, other person who is watching him, he will shout and he will save his life. So same thing, the sages, the association of devotees, they act like that savior. They are savior for us, and they save our life from entangling again and again into this material world, right? So association Prabhupada is stressing here. Let's go to the next shloka. Yes, Sindhu Mataji, you can.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Text 20. Tadaiva te param jnanam dadami graham agatah nyatva anyabinivesham te putram eva dadamyaham. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There's only translation. When I first came to your home, I could have given you the supreme transcendental knowledge. But when I saw that your mind was absorbed in material things, I gave you only a son who caused you jubilation and lamentation. Thank you, Mataji. Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So Angira Muni, he says that when I first came to your house, at that time only he would have given Chitraketu Maharaj the supreme transcendental knowledge. But he says that your mind was so much absorbed in material things that I gave you a son. Okay, and which caused you jubilation. Harsha Shok, he keeps the name as Harsha Shok because he tells him that it will cause you jubilation as well as lamentation. Correct? So a preacher knows how to impart transcendental knowledge according to the capacity of the recipient. That we should understand. We know that a teacher also, a teacher in school, teaches the subject according to the capacity, according to the understanding of the children. Correct? If the children find the subject matter little difficult, the teacher goes into more deeper goes deeper and deeper and tries to explain the concept to the children. So similarly, a preacher is like that. He understands where a person can receive the knowledge, when he is ready to take the knowledge. If the person is totally materially absorbed, the knowledge, the transcendental knowledge will not penetrate into his heart. That we should understand. So these sages, they are emotionally stable and renounced, and they are at very high platform. But when they saw that Chitraketu is bewildered by the death of his son, and this is just because of the material attachment to his son, his material attachment to his son. So then they became very merciful, and they had lot of compassion for this Chitraketu, and then they were very patient also. And then they now it was the time that King Chitraketu was ready to receive this transcendental knowledge. So now at this time they arrive, and they give this knowledge to Chitraketu. So we should understand that they may be the sages and the preachers, they are at a very elevated platform, but they change, they come down to give knowledge. They quickly adjust to the situation, and they give knowledge to the people. That we should understand. We can see example here that Narada Muni. We know, everybody knows the story of Mrugari. So how Narad Muni, yes, you must be knowing the story of Mrugari. We have done it. So Mrugari, how Narad Muni preached Mrugari. At first, he just told him that Mrugari was half killing the animals. So first Narad Muni told him that at least, if you want to kill animals, kill them fully. Because if you are half killing them, then they are going through a lot of suffering, and painfully, they are dying. Correct? So at least don't do that. Then when Mrugari heard this, then in the next, he further instructed him. He understood that now he is ready to listen to me, or he is ready to receive the knowledge. Then he instructed him, and last he told him that you should throw your bow and arrow. Okay, and then he told him that you should totally depend upon the Lord, and he will take care of all your needs. And the same thing happened. So Narad Muni, we see that how he preached a person, sinful person like Mrugari, who was killing the animals in a ghastly way, we can say. Also, when he saw Nalakuber and Manigriv, correct? So he didn't give them, he didn't give them any chance. He immediately cursed them. Correct? For Mrugari, he instructed him, he told him that at least if you want to kill them fully. But in case of Nalakuber and Manigriv, we can see that he immediately cursed them. Because the thing is that he said that you are so engrossed that we cannot so much, you are so much thickly covered by these conditionings that the only way to save you from this is the curse. So we should understand that the curse of sages is also a blessing for us. Correct. So Nalaku were Manigrave. He actually blessed them because he cursed them to become trees, and that too in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. Right. And so they were so fortunate that they could see the Bala Leela of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this way, though it appeared like a curse, but actually they were blessed by Narada Muni. So a preacher understands how to preach, correct? And here the same thing is going to happen now. The emphasis is given on the basic concept that we are not this body, but we are the spirit soul. And now Narada Muni, Angira Muni, they are going to instruct Chitraketu. So let us go to the next verse. Yes, Prashanti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna. Yes.
Aduna putrinam tapo bhavataivanubhuyate evam dara gruharayo vividaishwarya sampadaha shabda. Mataji, keep only Sanskrit, Mataji.
Acha, okay. Sometimes people they want English, so I just
Yes, Mataji. शब्दादयश्च विषयाश्च लाराज विभूतयः महीराजं बलं कोशो वृत्यामात्या सुहृज्जनाः सर्वेऽपि सूरसेने मे शोकमोहभयातिदाः गन्धर्वनगरप्रख्याः स्वप्ना मायापमनोरथाः. Shall I read translation, Mataji?
yes.
Translation by Prabhupada ki jai. My dear king, now you are actually experiencing the misery of a person who has sons and daughters. O king, owner of the state of Surasena, one's wife, his house, the opulence of his kingdom, and his various other opulences and objects of sense perception are all the same in that they are temporary. One's kingdom, military power, treasury, servants, ministers, friends, and relatives are all causes of fear, illusion, lamentation, and distress. They are like a Gandharva Nagara, a non-existent palace that one imagines to exist in the forest. Because they are impermanent, they are no better than illusions, dreams, and metal concussions. Purport, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This verse describes the entanglement of material existence. In material existence, the living entity possesses many things: the material body, children, wife, and so on. Dehapatya kalatra tisu. One may think that these will give him protection, but that is impossible. In spite of all these possessions, the spirit soul has to give up his present situation and accept another. The next situation may be unfavorable, but even if it is favorable, one must give it up and again accept another body. In this way, one's tribulation in material existence continues. A sane man should be perfectly aware that these things will never be able to give him happiness. One must be situated in his spiritual identity and eternally serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a devotee. Angira Rishi and Narada Muni gave this instruction to Maharaja Chitraketu. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat
Yeah,
Pranam.
Hare Krishna. The sages now stressing this point here that we are not this body, but we are the spirit soul, right? And if a man is perfectly aware of this, then he will engage himself in service of the Lord, correct? But because we are identifying, we should this real knowledge is what that spiritual soul he has to. We know that shloka from Bhagavad Gita, Dehinosmin, that spirit soul has to transmigrate from boyhood to youth to old age, and at the time of death the soul enters into another body, correct, according to his desires, and yeah, according to his desires. So a sane man who is aware of this knowledge, he doesn't lament, or he doesn't rejoice in this world, because he understands that these are nothing but seasons. How the seasons come and go, same way happiness, distress, they are going to come and go. He understands this perfectly. And he understands the characteristics of soul, that soul is unborn, soul is eternal, soul is ever existing, and the only the body is body can be slain, we can slay the body but not the soul, correct? And 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 that's why when one understands this, there is no lamentation, there is no reason for lamentation in this world, correct? We understand here that what are the causes for this misery in the material world. The only cause here, I mean, discussed elaborately in all these verses is attachment, correct? Because we are identifying ourselves as body, the attachment, there are so many attachment, as it is said here, that for a wife, children, relatives, so on, our possessions, all these things, no, we consider as they are mine, right? And because of that, we suffer in this material world. Because our real nature is Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishnera Nitya Das. And when we try to enjoy, this is against our no, real nature. Actually, our nature is to serve the Lord. Then only we get real happiness. But when we try to enjoy in this material world, nothing, we never get permanent happiness. It is always we suffer, right? So that is the important thing we should understand. It is said that Lord has provided for everyone's need, but not sufficient for one man's greed. Correct? If greed is there, nothing, I mean, we will never be satisfied. So that all these things we should understand that we are not this body, and the more and more emphasis will be given now on this point. Yes. Yes, Navakishori Mataji. She's there, or otherwise Divya Mataji, you can read.
दृश्यमाना विनर्तेन न दृश्यन्ते मनोभवः कर्म वीरध्यायातो नान कर्माणि मानसो भवन्. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. These visible objects like wife, children, and property are like dream and mental concoctions. Actually, what we see has no permanent existence. It is sometimes seen and sometimes not. Only because of our past actions do we create such mental concoctions, and because of these concoctions, we perform further activities. Purport. Everything material is a mental concoction because it is sometimes visible and sometimes not. At night, when we dream of tigers and snakes, they are not actually present, but we are afraid because we are affected by what we envision in our dreams. Everything material is like a dream because it actually has no permanent existence. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes as follows in his commentary: Arthena Vyagraha Sampadina Vinaiva दृश्यमाना स्व न दी भंगे सती न दृश्यन्ते तद एवं दरदायो वास्तव वस्तुभूतः स्वपनादयो वस्तुभूतः च सर्व मनोभाव मनोवासन जन्यतावान मनोभाव. At night one dreams of tigers and snakes, and while dreaming he actually sees them. But as soon as the dream is broken, they no longer exist. Similarly, the material world is a creation of our mental concoctions. We have come to this material world to enjoy material resources, and by mental concoctions, we discover many, many objects of enjoyment because our minds are absorbed in material things. This is why we receive various bodies. According to our mental concoctions, we work we work in various ways, desiring various achievements, and by nature and or the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Karmanadaiva Nitrana, we get the advantages we desire. Thus, we become more and more involved with material concoctions. This is the reason for our sufferings in the material world. By one kind of activity, we create another, and they are all products of our mental concoctions. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So we saw that we cannot enjoy in this material world. Why? Because a person who designed this material world did not design it for material enjoyment. For example, somebody makes a cake and forgets to put sugar in that. Then whatever piece you try to taste, you will not taste the sweetness, because sugar is not at all there in that cake. The baker has not put the sugar in it. So no matter whichever piece you take, it is going to be black, it will not be sweet. So the whole cake is like that. So the creator who has created this material world, he has not put this kind of pleasure in this material world, correct? Real happiness he has not put in this material world. And so no matter what all things we try to do in this material world, wealthy people think that they have a lot of wealth, so they will be happy forever, but that never happens. Because the more wealth you have, the more problems you face in your life, right? Because of material possessions, you want to earn, the greed increases, you want to earn more and more to remain at that position. Then there is a problem of, government may extract extra taxes from you, or your relatives, because of your wealth, they are you are fearful that they may take your wealth, they may do something to you and they may take your wealth. So the thing is that if you have lot of wealth, that doesn't mean that you will be happy or you will be peaceful. On the contrary, the lot of wealthy people, they are most frustrated and most distressed, right? Because all these problems, they are surrounding them, correct? So that means it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita also, this material world is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So there is no provision for happiness in this material world. That we should understand, and we should not keep concocting that somehow or other I will get happiness in this material world, but that is not going to happen, correct? So that real knowledge, these two sages are giving to Chitraketu, that you should understand that we are not this body, and because of that you should not lament for your son, because all these things in this material world are temporary, they are not permanent, right? And they are trying to tell him the reason in this material world is, the most important reason is attachment. And attachment, why attachment? Because of ignorance. And what is that ignorance? Is we are identifying with the body, not with the spirit soul. Yes. Navakishori Mataji, you can read.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah.
Dandavat pranam.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Text 25. Ayam hi dehino deho dravya gnana kriyatmakah dehino vividha klesha santapa krududahayatah. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The living entity in the bodily conception of life is absorbed in the body, which is a combination of the physical elements, the five senses for gathering knowledge, and the five senses of action, along with the mind. Through the mind, the living entity suffers the three kinds of tribulations. Adi Bhodika, Adi Devika, and Adhyatmika. Therefore, this body is a source of all miseries. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. In the fifth canto, 5.5.4, while instructing his son, Rishabhadeva said, Asan api kleshada asa deha, the body, although temporary, is the cause of all the causes, miseries of material existence. As already discussed in the previous verse, the entire material creation is based on mental concoctions. The mind sometimes induces us to think that if we purchase as an automobile, we can enjoy the physical elements such as earth, water, air, and fire combined in the form of iron, plastic, petrol, and so on. Working with the five material elements, Panchabhutas, as well as with our five knowledge gathering senses like the eyes, ears, and tongues, and our five active senses like the hands and legs, we become involved in the material conditions. Thus, we are subjected to the tribulations known as Adhyatmika, Adi Devika, and Adi Bhautika. The mind is the center because the mind creates all these things as soon as the material object is struck. However, the mind is affected and we suffer, for example, with the material elements, working senses, and the knowledge gathering senses. We create a very nice car, and when the car is accidentally smashed in a collision, the mind suffers, and through the mind, the living entity suffers. The fact is that the living entity, while concocting with the mind, creates the material condition because matter is destructible. Through the material condition, the living entity suffers. Otherwise, the living entity is detached from all material conditions. When one comes to the Brahman platform, the platform of spiritual life, fully understanding that he is a spiritual soul, Aham Brahmasmi, he is no longer affected by lamentation or hankering. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 18.54, Brahma Bhutaha Prasannatma na Sacheti na Kankashati. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes Supreme Brahman and become fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything elsewhere. In Bhagavad Gita 15.7, the Lord says, Mamai vai vamsha jiva loke jiva bhutaha sanatanaha manaha sanstani indriyani prakriti sthani karsati. The living entities is in the conditions world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditions life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which includes the mind. The living entity is actually part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is unaffected by material conditions. But because the mind, manaha, is affected, the senses are affected, and the living entity struggle for existence within this material world. Hare Krishna Mataji, then thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. So the center, the miseries, how one is miserable in this material world, the center is mind, because mind is storehouse of desires, we can say. So many things are coming in mind and the senses are acting according to that, right? So mind, we have to control the mind, otherwise we cannot stay happy in this material world. We have to engage the mind in the service of the Lord, otherwise it will be very difficult. So mind, yes. So we how to control the mind, that is the most important point here. We can engage our mind in hearing Bhagavad Katha as we are doing right now, and then automatically the actions follow accordingly. If we hear something nice, the action also becomes, they also become purified. And actions are, just the byproducts of contemplation, because the mind is contemplating on something. The the body acts accordingly. Sometimes the sense objects are not around, but still mind can agitate the body. Like, for example, we are passing by the road and we see a pani puri wala, right? And immediately the mind has desire, no, I want to eat a pani puri, right? Or sometimes it happens that in mind only, we are cutting a lemon in two pieces and we are squeezing it. So actually we have not cut the lemon, but in mind we did that, and still immediately we can have some sensation on our tongue, right? Seeing the cutting the lemon in mind. So that is why mind is very, very powerful. And unless and until we engage it properly, it is very difficult to conquer. And that's why we have to engage it in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we have to be in association of devotees, so that devotees can help us engage in more and more service, or more and more activities for Krishna. There is a story of one old man. He was lying on deathbed, and he was just calling out, "Oh, where is my younger son?" So he came and he said, "No, Papa, I'm here only." Then he said, "Where is my middle son?" He said, "Mom, I'm also here." He called for the eldest one. He said, "I'm also here." He said, "Where is my daughter? Where is my wife?" They all said, "We all are here around you." And then immediately he said that, "Then who is there at the shop?" So the thing is that he is lying on the deathbed, and he is calling out for all the people, and then still he is thinking of his business only. That is our mind. So and that's why it is said that at the time of death, what all things or what all thoughts are there in mind, accordingly we get the next body. Correct? So it is very difficult to control the mind. It is very difficult. That's why it is said that we have to follow the ABCD. Then only we can little bit control mind, or we can control, instead of control, we can say we can double mind in Krishna conscious activities. Then it will be easier, because mind is always active, but we have to double that mind in the service of the Lord. Yes. Anybody wants to recite who has not recited?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Shall I try,
Yes.
Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Tasmat swastena manasa vimrishya gatim atmanaha dvaite dhruvartha vishrambam tyajopasamam avisha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Okay. Translation. Therefore, O King Chitraketu, carefully consider the position of the Atma. In other words, try to understand who you are, whether body, mind, or soul. Consider where you have come from, where you are going after giving up this body, and why you are under the control of the material lamentation. Try to understand your real position in this way, and then you will be able to give up your unnecessary attachment. You will also be able to give up the belief that this material world or anything not directly in touch with your service to Krishna is eternal. Thus you will obtain peace. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Shri Prabhupada. The Krishna conscious movement is factually endeavoring to bring human society to a sober condition because of a misdirected civilization. People are jumping in materialistic life like cats and dogs, performing all sorts of abominable, sinful actions and becoming increasingly entangled. The Krishna conscious movement includes self realization because one is first directed by Lord Krishna to understand that one is not the body but the owner of the body. When one understands this simple fact, he can direct himself towards the goal of life. Because people are not educated in terms of the goal of life, they are working like madmen and becoming more and more attached to the material atmosphere. The misguided man accepts the material condition as everlasting. One must give up his faith in material things and give up attachment for them. Then one will be sober and peaceful. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna. So here again, same. Or this section basically, it is emphasized that we should understand our real identity, that we are not body but we are the spirit soul, and that's why it is said here that because of misdirected civilization, people are jumping in materialistic life and they are performing all sorts of sinful actions, and they become more and more entangled. Like we can say, for example, we want to live forever, correct? Nobody wants to die, isn't it? So they do believe in eternity, but they are not ready. But they are not ready to digest, as because we are identifying ourselves with the body. We want to have eternal life, but still we don't. But because we identify with the body, we cannot understand we cannot understand this knowledge perfectly, right? Like for example, people go to movie theater and they watch the movie. Sometimes seeing the scene in the movie, they cry. Sometimes they rejoice. Okay, and when they come out of the theater, um, they understand that there is nothing to lament about it anymore because it was just a movie. Correct? So same thing is with us, because why we are suffering, why we are crying, why we are frustrated, because we are identifying with the body. We should understand that all these things are temporary. They are not permanent at all. Our real happiness, our permanent residence is in the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When we understand this, then only we can get real eternal happiness. And we should understand that the soul is qualitatively equal with the Lord. When we understand all these things, then we can get real happiness. So here Chitraketu Maharaj is miserable, and we should understand that most of the times this misery helps living entity to come out of this kind of illusion, this misidentification with the body. Correct? Pain tells us that this is a deeper problem, and we should solve the problem. Correct? So miseries miseries, they just give us an indication, correct, to get real knowledge about ourselves. Correct? And they help us to overcome such illusory state. Like in Bhagavad Gita also, Arjuna was distressed, and he was seeing disaster everywhere. Even if he fights, then he kills his own people. So there is a disaster. And if he doesn't fight, then he loses the battle, he loses the kingdom, and there will be a disaster. So he was at a certain point, he was like, I cannot do anything, so I will not fight now. And at that time, Krishna Krishna came, Krishna spoke basically Bhagavad Gita, correct? And he spoke about spirit soul at that time. So and he told him that you are lamenting for something which is not worth lamentable. So in that situation, Arjuna was also miserable on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So at that point, he could appreciate that he is not the body, but he is the soul. Otherwise, it is very difficult. We see people around us, they are engaged in all types of enjoyment, but nobody wants to take knowledge about this real knowledge about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is our relationship with him? Why we are suffering in this material world. Hardly any people want to know about this. Otherwise, all people, the whole world is engaged in enjoying, correct? But they don't understand that this is not real enjoyment, but ultimately they are suffering in this material world. So at that point, Arjuna understood this knowledge. So same thing is happening over here, that Chitraketu Maharaj is also in that miserable condition, and at that time, these two sages, they are instructing him. So now he after receiving this knowledge, he will have darshan of the Lord also. We'll see in the next two shlokas. They don't have purport, so we will just quickly read the translation and we'll complete this chapter today. Yes, who wants to recite? Yes, Padma Mataji. Yes.
Recite the sloka.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Srinarda Uvacha Etam Mantropanishadam Pratisya Pramayo Prayato Mama Yam Dharayan Sapta Ratrat Prasta Sankashanam Vibhum. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The great sage Narada continued, "My dear king, attentively receive from me a mantra which is most auspicious. After accepting it from me, in 7 nights you will be able to see the Lord face to face."
Yes. And last shloka for today. Who wants to recite?
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
If anyone else is there, they can read Mataji, otherwise I'll read.
Yes, anybody else wants to read? Okay, Mataji, you read. Prashanti Mataji, you can.
Yes, Mataji. Yat padamoolamupasrutya narendra. One second, Mataji. Yat padamoolamupasrutya narendra purve Sharvadayo brahmamivam dvitiyam visrujya sadyastadiyamatulanadikam mahitvam prapurbhavanapi param na chiradupauti. Translation by Prabhupada ki Jai. My dear king, in former days, Lord Shiva and other demigods took shelter of the lotus feet of Sankarsana. Thus, they immediately got free from the illusion of duality and achieved unequaled and unsurpassed glories in spiritual life. You will very soon attain that very same position. Purport. Thus, the end of Bhaktivedanta purports of the 6th canto, 15th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled "The Saints Narada and Angida Instruct King Chitraketu." Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So just we will conclude that Angira Muni uses his expertise in preaching, and he patiently waits, because first time when he comes to visit Chitraketu, he would have given the spiritual knowledge to him, but he wants the king to experience himself. Like there is a beautiful small story of Prabhupada's son. He was very active, and they had a table fan. Okay, so he wanted to put hand in that, and his father, mother, Prabhupada, they were protecting him. So Prabhupada's friend came there, and he saw that son is he wants to go there. So what he did, he asked to switch off that fan, and when the speed was very slow, he asked the child, he asked them to leave the child. So he went there, and he put his hand, but because the speed was very slow, it was just a minor injury, but the child got a lesson. And when they switched on the fan again, the child did not go there. So same thing here. Angira Muni also wanted Chitraketu Maharaj to learn by taking by taking experience himself. Okay, and now he knows that he is ready to receive this transcendental knowledge. So now they are instructing. So he waits patiently, let Chitraketu make a mistake, and then when the right time comes, he is giving real knowledge to them, and he is imparting the most important knowledge, that what is the difference between body and soul, what are the activities of the body, what are the activities of the soul, and we should not invest our time in temporary activities of this material world, because by investing time in that, we are eventually going to suffer, because they are not permanent things. So material world is full of dangers, correct? So how the soul can be benefited is only by rendering devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that knowledge these two sages are giving, and thus we have completed this chapter. So thank you so much for patiently hearing and attending this session. If you have any comments or you want to ask something, you can go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat
Yes.
Pranams.
Yes,
Mataji,
Pranam.
past 2-3 years I've been hearing this, that we are not the body or the soul, but I feel it's not sinking inside me, Mataji. So I'm chanting, doing deity puja, but still I feel I'm so superficial like that. What can be done, Mataji?
Mataji, try to why we are understand. Basically, do you do you believe that we are suffering in this world?
Yes, Mataji. I've suffered a lot of health problems. Me, my husband. So many problems are there, Mataji.
Correct. So why we are suffering? This is a normal question anybody can have. No, because we have wealth, we are doing all the things. We are religious. Say we are religious, we are following all the things, but still we are suffering, isn't it? So why we are suffering?
I'm thinking it's my past karma.
Right. It's your past
Mind.
karma. Yes.
Mind management, we are not able to manage our emotions, or
Okay.
how to put it, yeah, we feel that by satisfying our sense objects, we satisfy, so that is the real success, happiness in life, but actually that is not right.
Right. So that happiness is temporary. If you achieve something, you feel yes, like any team or any cricket team or football team, they achieve some success. They get that cup, or they get some trophy, but that is temporary. Next time, some other team will come and they will win that trophy, isn't it? So
Yes.
whatever happiness or whatever distress also we are getting, it will be for some time. Again, it is going to change, like seasons, as I said. isn't it? Happiness, distress, it is going to come and go. So Mataji, you are asking how to realize it, isn't it,
Sink this
Saraswati
feeling.
Mataji?
Yes,
Huh?
Mataji, I want to sink this feeling
Sink
inside.
this. Mataji, this will happen if you keep on sincerely chanting, praying to the Lord, right? And in association of devotees and hearing from scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam.
Gradually.
So sinking means what will happen is you will start thinking on that level, Mataji, right? I mean, that change will come. That around us so many things are happening, correct? But when we take shelter of Lord, we understand that this is the nature of this material world. The Lord has designed it in that way. So we are no more frustrated. We are no more distressed about it. Correct? And as you said rightly, that you are facing health issues, correct? But you are now understanding that this is maybe because of my previous karmas. So this is sinking, Mataji. That means somewhere you are understanding that all these things are happening, why they are happening, why am I suffering, and what is the ultimate goal of my life. So why you are chanting? Because somewhere you know that ultimate goal of your life is to go back to Godhead, to go back to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that's why you are continuing chanting, isn't it? If you wouldn't have believed, then you would have left the chanting.
Yes, I want to go back.
So gradually these things are, this is, you can call as sinking. So gradually only all things are going to happen, because we are covered by so many coverings. Conditionings are there since life, since time immemorial. We don't know how many lifetimes we have been in this material world, right? So many things, so many coverings will be there, and they are not going to go just like that immediately, isn't it?
Yes.
So by practicing these things sincerely, and the very fact that you are understanding that this is due to my karma and I want to go back to Godhead, correct? So gradually that determination, that firmness will come, Mataji, definitely. That's what I think.
So from material consciousness, we need to completely go to Krishna consciousness. But most of it we are in material.
What?
But most of the time we are hardly in Krishna consciousness, right? I'm saying.
Yes, Mataji. That's what we are called as sadhakas. We are not Shuddha Bhaktas or pure devotees, right? We are trying to, correct? We are trying to do, isn't it? We have not yet perfected. We are not great sages like Narada and Ankira Muni, right? We are just trying our level best, but at least we are now aware. This is, previously we were not aware of this fact, but now we are aware. So consciously we are making some efforts, isn't it, Mataji? Though we are not, we have not perfected, but still we are trying to do it, isn't it, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. And I've also seen many devotees telling Mataji, everything is good, but something is missing, Something is lacking in my life. I mean, sometimes even I feel, I mean, why is that, Mataji? How much ever we chant, how much ever we do everything, but that satisfaction thing is missing. Something is, I used to wonder, Mataji, why is that something is lacking always in life?
Because we are not 24 hours, we are not Krishna conscious.
Yes.
We still have some other engagements apart from Krishna, isn't it? We understand all these, as Mataji was saying, how it will sink in us, correct? So when 24 hours we are totally engaged in Krishna's service, At that time only that no, that stage can come, Mataji. Right now we are doing all the things. We know that we have to we have to wake up early in the morning, we have to chant our rounds, we have to read, we have to hear all these things.
Yes.
But still we have no certain material things also to do, isn't it? Totally we are no, not totally in 24 hours we are not Krishna conscious. We are
Yes.
trying to be more and more no engaged in Krishna's service, but still not 100%. And because of that dissatisfaction is there. That's what I think, Mataji.
Hello.
Thank you, Mataji.
ଏଇ ଲିଙ୍କ ରେ
Yeah,
ଜଏନ୍
actually,
କରିକି ଆସିଲୁ ଶୁଣିବୁ ମ୍ୟୁଟ
Mataji,
କରିକି ସବୁ
even
ଭିଡିଓ
I
ଅଡିଓ
had
ଅଫ୍
the
କରି
same
ଆସିବୁ
doubt
ଜାଣିପାରିଲୁ
that
ହଁ ମୁଁ
we are
କହିଲି ଯୋଉ
getting
ଲିଙ୍କ
knowledge.
ଦେଲେ ଜଏନ୍ କଲୁ ଭିଡିଓ ଅଡିଓ ଅଫ୍
Even I had the same sort of doubt, Mataji. We are getting the
Yes.
knowledge, but while applying, we are not able to properly. Sometimes I feel after giving a response, I feel that I could have responded in a different way, but which we have already done, Mataji. So I was about to ask this, how to properly think before we respond, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, it will, that's what I said, it will gradually come, Mataji. We have to do our sadhana sincerely, and basically we have to associate with devotees. So by seeing the devotees, we get lot of inspiration, right, Mataji? So
Yes,
all
Mataji.
these things we have to do in association. Whatever, all ABCDs, we always talk about ABCDs, right? So we have to do all these things in association. You just think now Janmashtami is coming, so there will be sevas in the temple and all. So at that time, see your enthusiasm and see your enthusiasm in a normal day. So at that time we are fully charged, because we are in association of devotees. Certain seva is allotted to us, and we are fully into that only, isn't it? But rest of the
Yes.
days we are not totally. You just imagine a festival day, we are rendering some service, and a normal day. So why that is difference? Because for that time we are totally engaged on that day, but the other days we are not that fully engaged, isn't it?
Yes, Mataji.
And that's why we are not getting that. But we are trying to do, isn't it? That we should understand, that we should keep in mind, that we are trying to do more and more. We are trying to increase our consciousness about Krishna.
Sure,
So
Mataji.
the more we do, the more we'll get realizations. That's what I think, Mataji.
Sure, Mataji. But the only thing is, in a day-to-day life, we can't keep going to temple all the days, Mataji. So weekends, it's fine, but
yeah, I know.
On a regular day, it's not possible.
Regular date is not possible. That is right. And but that's why we are trying to have association like this, through the sessions, you can have small groups of your friends, and you can decide something, and you can do. And see, Mataji, at the I know a regular day it is little difficult, because other engagements are also there. We have so many duties duties for our children, for our family. So it is little difficult, but we should at the end of the day we should think that how much time how much more time I can spend in Krishna's service. How much time I spend today, and how much more can I spend. Yeah, Rohini Mataji is saying listening to talks, and what, Mataji, you can
Mataji,
yes.
On YouTube, talks by Radhakrishna Prabhuji, then Chaitanya Charitamrit, Prabhuji, all of these talks, while doing the household chores and while traveling, when I listen to their talks also, the discourses by them, the Prabhujis and all, that also to a certain extent has helped. I mean,
Yes.
still not reached there, but it helps. I can see a significant change.
Correct. Yes. Actually, internet, I mean, this medium is a very kind of boon for us, right? So many things are available. So many lectures of great devotees, great sannyasis are available on YouTube. So as Mataji said, while cooking or while doing our household work, we can listen to the lectures and we can get inspiration from that, isn't it? We can, or Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we can that mantra machine is there, so we can continuously hear the mantra the whole day, isn't it? Even if we are sleeping, we can have that mantra in the background, isn't it? So that way we can try, Mataji. Yes, Prashanti
Sure,
Mataji.
Mataji. Yeah. Thank you,
You wanted
Mataji.
to ask something?
That one only, Mataji. That's what I was saying. Our responses, actually, when we are giving response to some situation, after that, I feel that, okay, I should have given in a different way.
But
But the time
Mataji,
has already gone.
yes, that is correct. The very thing is that at least after that, you are realizing that I should have responded differently, isn't it?
Yes, Mataji.
Previously, you just think that before coming to Krishna consciousness, at that time also you must be reacting to you must be responding to the situations, right? But we never thought at that time that I should have responded differently. But the very fact that now you are thinking like that indicates that some changes, some transformation is happening, isn't it, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
So
Yes.
next time there will be more improvement. That's what I mean. Yes or no?
Sure. Yes, Mataji.
Right now,
Sure.
at least after the situation, you are realizing that my response should have been different. Next time, you will think before responding, and that will surely come, Mataji.
Sure, Mataji. Please pray for me for that.
Yes,
To
yes,
come early, Mataji. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. And thank you, Rohini Mataji, for the suggestion.
Yes. So I think no questions. So we will stop here. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnav vrinda ki jai. Vaishnav Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much. See you next time.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. I will end the session for all.